Good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Hope everyone is doing well. I know the rain has started here in spits and spurts here in Whitby. I thought I heard thunder from my basement craft room, so no, Matt's shaking his hand. So clearly I was just
windy.
Just hearing things, hearing the wind, hearing the creative juices flowing in my brain. So welcome to another Learning Live. This is our first Learning Live of April. And I think I may have mentioned in my Sunday night email that I was going to do Better Press registration plates. I was going to do something with the Better Press system. And as is a woman's prerogative, I changed my mind. So if you are here to learn about the Better Press, I'm sorry, you will not be learning about the Better Press tonight. We are postponing that until after Scrapfest, but I promise you it will be worth the wait. So our Better Press registration plates Learning Live will take place on April 16th. We are not going to have a Learning Live next week. It is just days before we pack up and head to Kitchener for Scrapfest and just need to focus on some other things. So you got me tonight, and we're going to be doing a layout tonight. And then next week you have off. Then we'll be back on the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th as part of our regularly scheduled programming. So this is Sheri from the Papercrafters Workshop. Welcome if you are new. If you are not new, welcome also. We are just going to play tonight. I've had this idea for quite a long time, and I can't even take credit for the idea. It was a layout that I saw on social media with our friends at Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. I want to say that it was a Virginia Nebel image that I saw, project that I saw. I apologize if I got that wrong, but it was something that I have wanted to do for a while, and that is make a layout using tags. We have lots and lots of companies that do tag paper. Simple Stories is probably one of the ones that is most well known for having a tag elements as part of their paper lines. And this paper I've actually had here in my stash for a while because I wanted to create what I saw Virginia create with. And you know what? As we got in the Simple Stories color palette line, they had some stunning. They have actually like a whole series of tag pages in all of the different colors. So that is really inspiring me tonight. I'm going to take my layout into a completely different place than the SET example was. But that was definitely my inspiration, really finding a different way to use this tag paper. Now, if you have tag paper from other lines, you can see that there is a significant size difference in the tag. On the fresh air paper that I've got here, you've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you've got 15 tags. On the color palette tags, you actually only get 8. So depending on which paper you are using, you may need fewer or more tags. I'm going to be using the big ones, but I've already pre-cut my tags. I'll go through that in just a second. And you know what? I may even trim some of these down because they might be too long. But I just really love the blocks of color, and I'm excited to use it. Now, they've got patterns on one side. They have other patterns on the other side. So at minimum, these tag papers are exceptional for just using them as tags or using them as elements on cards. You can punch the holes out, you can decorate these up and just give them as tags as they are because they are decorated on both sides. But tonight we're going to be using them on a layout. And I know we do tend to focus on cards a lot, so that was another reason why I wanted to do a layout tonight. Now, the other thing I wanted to accomplish with tonight's layout is showing you, well, there's actually a couple things. I want to show you obviously how to use tags. I want to show you how you don't have to focus on one company or one brand. You can absolutely mix and match your lines. And I'm also going to show you how to get a mixed media look without the mess. Because you guys know me, you know mess is not my thing, but I think we're going to be able to create some really awesome things here in tonight's class. And I just remembered I had thought of something else along the way, so I'm actually going to pull out a stencil as well. So if I remember to use that, we may do some stenciling as well. But again, all dry, no muss, no fuss, but it's going to come out with it. If my vision comes out of my head and onto the paper the way I think it's going to, we're going to have a really cool look. So I've got some inks. I've got some gems because you always need some bling.
When's the last time the thing that was in your head translated to the paper exactly as it was in your head?
When is the last time it came out of my head exactly the same way? I will say probably not super frequently. Hopefully, even if it doesn't come out exactly the way I have envisioned, it's going to be better than what I envisioned. But you know what? We're gonna roll with it. We're going to troubleshoot. We're going to move things along, and we are just going to see how this works out.
We have someone watching from Arizona. That's not fair.
Is that our friend? Is it Janice?
Yes, it's Janice.
Hello, Janice. Hello from Arizona. I'm sure you are experiencing much better weather than we are, but thank you for joining me tonight. So yeah, we're going to use, you're getting some sneak peeks of new stuff you're going to see and what's new tomorrow night. There is a new washi tape from All and Create that is stitching. I've got some new rub-ons from All and Create that look very splattery and mixed media-y without the water. I've got some little die cut words that we can play with. I've got this adorable little stamp set also from All and Create. This is called Miniatures. This is an older one from Tracy Evans, but I thought it had some really cool little elements. And then, yeah, I've got my tag paper. So again, this is color palette from Simple Stories. So this is the pink, and there are, all of these piles have 4 tags in them. I went ahead and pre-cut them just so they were ready. You don't need to see me cut tags. So I've got pink, which also I believe, yeah, that one came with the red. I've got the yellow and the green, which came on the same page. I have, and I've gotten rid of the advertising strips. This one, here we go. This was teal and mint. So mint is actually more like a baby blue. And then teal, for obvious reasons, is the teal. And then I also cut the white tags, or maybe they're called cream. And they come on the same page as the black and white. So those are the ones that I'm going to be using tonight. I may use some of them. I may use all of them. We'll have to see. And, you know, I think you guys are going to say, oh, well, no surprising, she's using green. But this is probably one of my favorite pages from the whole line. This is the Vintage Artistry Kaleidoscope. The page is called Exquisite Specimen. And it's got all these beautiful hummingbirds. So one other trick I'm going to show you tonight is how you can stretch a single piece of paper onto 2 pages. I've got 2 sheets of this one here. It's got the green background. I'm going to be using the green side. I may not use both, but it's always better to have more than less. And then I've got a couple of other pages here that we might use for photo mats, we might use for accents, we might use for something else. And I'm going to be totally transparent with you guys. That's my idea. And that may not look like a lot to you guys, but it does somewhat represent what's in my head from a structural standpoint. I thought
you were a better artist than that.
Matt says he thought I was a better artist This is the 5-second drawing. Give me another 40 minutes or so, and this will make much more sense. So much more sense. Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes it doesn't matter how good the drawing is. It simply is a representation of what's in your head so that you don't get lost along the way. Okay, so I am going to start with the hummingbird paper, and I am going to stretch this over 2 pages. Gonna try it the first way. If the first way doesn't work, then I do have a backup plan. So my current idea, and I don't know if you can see this very well, and it's not really necessary, but if you notice on this page, there is actually a bit of a line here where the collage has been layered together. I'm actually going to cut along this line here to this point, and then fussy cut. Yes, I'm going to fussy cut loosely around this plant and this bird, because I'm going to then flip them so that the hummingbirds kind of go across the bottom of my 2 pages. If that doesn't work, then we will just fussy cut this way and use this piece for something else. And don't worry, they still will be 12 by 12 when all said and done. That's what the other pages are for. Do we have any questions as I'm going along? Hope everyone is doing well.
No questions yet.
No questions yet? Okay, I'm just going to take my tags, stack them all together, move them off to the side. I'm going to cut off my advertising strip. Line it up. I'm an eyeballer when it comes to the advertising strip. There we go. And then, like I said, I'm going to try and follow this line. Now, I did measure this earlier, and I think it worked out to be 3 7/8. And that's going to be important for later on. Let me write that down. So 3 7/8. So I'm once again eyeballing it, and I'm going to trim. Let me just make sure. Why is that sticky? There's something sticky on my ruler. Okay. So if I line that up there, yeah, I'm pretty close. Again, not looking for perfection. Nobody's going to look as closely as I am going to look at my own piece. And I'm just going to come down as, kind of about here, close to that leaf. And on this trimmer, you know where the blade is because there's 2 pointy bits on the blade. And yeah, I can come down a little bit further, just like that. And you can see I've gotten close to that leaf. So I'm going to grab my scissors. And actually, just because it's easier, I'm going to come up from the bottom. I'm going to just kind of zigzag around this area here.
You're cutting away some birds.
I'm not cutting them away. I'm just moving them.
Oh.
I'm moving them because I want them to stretch across 2 pages. And I don't want to have hard edges from the sides of the page. So let's just go.
That's hard paper to fussy cut.
It is a little bit tricky to be very detailed, but the best thing to do is to loosely do it first. You can always go back in and refine your cuts. In this case, I'm not looking at my left side and my right side to marry up. So if I cut something away that doesn't get cut away from the other side, no one's going to know. And I apologize if my head's getting on the camera.
No.
So far, so good?
You're cutting off camera for a moment.
Okay. So I apologize if that wasn't on camera. This one here, and I can now go in and I'm going to cut a little bit closer to that leaf. Come in here. And then down here. just so it's a little bit tidier. And I am a loose, fussy cutter. I do not have the patience to go in and get very detailed, but that's nice and loose. Let's get rid of these little scraps here. So this is going to be actually on the left side of my page. Now, this is what I was afraid of, and this is what I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not, is this kind of jiggy-jaggy bit here. So what I'm going to do is, let's tidy up this area first. Just cut away some of this excess that isn't quite so pretty. And I want to clear this. So I think I'm actually going to get my paper trimmer out. And I'm going to do, so much like this one has a straight line here coming down, I'm going to do a straight line here. And you know what? Let's even go so far as I want to be clear of this point, and I want to be clear. I want this to be able to overlap, but I don't want to completely cut off this bird here. So let's use my grid. Come down here.
Uh-oh. You've got one of Darlene's, Chelsea, watching.
Oh, Chelsea's watching. Hello, Miss Chelsea. A shout out to Darlene Jr., crafter in training. All right, so I'm going to line it up here and using my grids, but my ruler is only 12 inches. So, okay, so I'm going to just lightly draw with my pencil down this way to about here. So I've just picked a spot here and it's coming down onto the bird. Bird has the word. All right, get that lined up and let's cut this piece away as well. There we go. So there's my piece. And then the last thing I have to do is just gonna fussy cut around this hummingbird. There we go. And what that does is it makes it look like this straight line, and then these jaggedy bits are on purpose. That's really all I'm trying to do. And then, like I said, the reason why I'm doing this is so that on your layout, when your page goes like this, doesn't that look a whole lot more seamless? Even though there's a great big line down the middle, I don't have straight lines happening right in the smack in the middle of my layout. Now, like I said, this is 3 7/8. This one is, because we cut some away, 6 1/2. So we need to make up the rest of this page. And that is where I'm going to come in with, whoops, this piece here.
Kaleidoscope that you're using?
This is Kaleidoscope that I'm using. That first page was called Exquisite Specimen. This one is called Animated Travelers. But I am using the green side, not the pink side with the hummingbirds. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this advertising strip off. Like so. I don't want that to go away because I have a thought for that as well. Yeah, I'm trying to just think through my drawing. Okay, so 3 7/8. To get to 12, that means I need, if I'm butting it up exactly, that means I need 8 1/8. I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to go 8 1/2. And yes, this means I am going to use both pieces. because I don't think I will have enough on that. So 8.5, that gives us a little bit of an overlap that we can attach our pages together. So that's one. And the second one was 6.5. So I'm going to just cut it at 6. Because the other half would technically be 5.5. But again, it's going to give me some buffer, save the advertising strip. And so we'll cut this one at 6. And this will all become clear in a moment, I promise. I promise, I promise. So this one needs to go on this side. This one needs to go on this side. So if I put these two together, and I'll have to find the exact right spot, but that is now making up my 12 by 12. And I will do the same on this other side. I can't do it because right now because it won't all be on camera. But, all right, let's figure this out. If I have, that's one edge of my 12 by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just need width. Okay. So if this is going to go here. Have I lost anybody yet, Matt? Everybody's still following along?
I guess so.
Please do ask questions. I'm happy to go over things again. And that's going to make up my 12 by 12. So what I'm going to do, again, let's just take a little piece of the washi so that I can do this. Oh, that moved.
You have to put 2 washies on there.
I'm going to have to put 2 washies because it wiggled just a little bit. And maybe I'll even be safe and do 3 washies. So a washi here and a washi down here. And I am actually going to use some score tape, mostly because it's got the width. And I'm just going to go like this. And I'm not going to peel the backing. I know it's double-sided tape, but I'm simply using it as single-sided tape. And then I can peel this off. And don't worry that it is going, it will have some gaps. Once you start getting all of your other elements on here, it will give you some stability for your page. If you're at all worried, you can go in with a little bit of liquid glue to tack that down. But at this point, because I don't know what I'm going to tuck and what I'm not going to tuck, I'm not going to do that. All right, so this one's going to come over here. I'm going to come back here, and that was the one that goes under here. So again, I've got my 12 by 12 all worked out, and use my washi tape, and washi tape down here so that I can flip it over and tape it down. And as long as you're straddling that seam, you will be good to go. Okay, so now our washi tape can come off. We have our 2 pages, our 2 base pages. And now we can start playing with our tags.
That was a lot of work just to get base pages.
It was a little bit of extra work to create base pages, but it allowed us, so if you go to your stash and you have only one piece of that favorite pattern paper, you can still stretch it over a 2-page layout. And as I'm looking across the room at my screen, The beautiful teal of these hummingbirds is not really translating well, but trust me, it is absolutely, absolutely standing out here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is now start playing with my tags. So I am going to start with, so we've got a fairly dark background with this green. I mean, it's not as dark as, say that navy blue one that I showed you earlier, but we do want to build layers of contrast with these tags. So I think I'm going to start with the mint, or what I would call the light blue. And I only have 4. So I want 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. Now again, remember, the tags are double-sided. Full transparency, I'm going to do my best to avoid the butterflies because I still want my hummingbirds to be the hero. So that one's okay, but it's got that little bird on there, and I don't, again, I want hummingbirds to be the hero. This one here, so this one here has a large butterfly, so I'm going to use the gingham, and this will be my one kind of exception where I do have the butterfly here, and that's going to come over here. And then I'm actually going to try and tuck underneath. And then I need another layer to kind of fill this in. And already I am diverging from my sketch just a little bit, but that's okay. There's no rules. And if I hadn't shown you the sketch, you wouldn't have known. I'm going to use the white ones for the next layer. So let's go. And I'm looking at different patterns. This one's a gingham. I don't want it over here with this gingham, so I'm going to come over here like this. And these two guys.
Yes.
Yes, Matt says.
Not that side.
No,
that side.
Especially here. And now this is feeling very heavy, and this is feeling very not heavy. This is 2 ginghams, but I don't want a gingham here. So let's at least.
The other one.
And this is where we just kind of have to move things around. So let's do. Nope. Boop. There we go. And then over here, we can do it, whoops, this way. And nothing's 100% in place yet. I'm just trying to get colors on here. And then my next layer, so that's one layer. And my next layer, I think I'm going to do, I might not get into the yellow and green. I may just stick here with the pink and teal next and call it, because these are bigger than, as I said, than maybe what I had originally planned. This one here,
other side.
The butterflies get cut off. And really just want those hits of color. So I need a teal. Unfortunately, too many of these are too similar. So we may not have the total best. And then this one here. All right, so this is where I'm going to go with it, but I also want to do some tucking. So boop-a-doo-doo. Okay. Because I don't want to hide my hummingbirds here. So this top line here, this layer of pink and teal, I'm actually going to trim down, what's that, about 2 inches off of the bottom of each one. Just so that I can stack them on top of these larger ones. And this is really just where you have to, see what you've got, see where things lay out, and then make your alterations. So there's that one. 2 inches off the bottom. Really using these for color purposes. Let's go and do, I'm going to work on that left-hand page. And then that might make things a whole lot easier for the right hand once I get things figured out. Before I move on, I'm going to share a public service announcement. I had a boo-boo, and it was not from the blade. I actually ended up cutting myself because I scraped. I had this over to one side, and I went to reach for it, and I scraped my finger on this metal edge of the trimmer. It is also just as sharp as the blade. So if you are using your guillotine trimmer, please be careful. Please be careful. All right.
If you didn't have blood, it wouldn't be crafting.
Well, it definitely put some DNA on some of my pieces. Okay. So how are we going to do this and keep our layers and keep them looking nice? Okay, don't overthink it. We're just going for it. We're just going to go for it. So get my tape runner. The nice thing about tape runners, if you only use a little, you should be able to lift it up. So this one I'm going to put over here in this bottom left-hand corner, kind of at what is that, 10 o'clock, on that 10 o'clock angle. Then I'm going to do my white one. Yep. And if you just do it lightly, then you can lift as you need. Then I'll do
jaunty angle.
My jaunty angle.
There you go.
Do this one. And it is a shame to cover up those beautiful butterflies, but you can always do a second layout where it's the reverse. And so this one here is pretty much going straight up and down at 12 o'clock. Now, I did not go in and punch out the holes. Each of these tags has the little faux hole. You could punch them out. You could embellish with ribbon or twine or the like. For tonight's purposes, I am not. And then I'm going to come over here. I got to remember.
It was the other way.
It was this way?
Maybe not.
Yep. I am going to do it that way.
You do whatever you want.
That's right. Me will do me. You do you. So this one is a little bit more on that 90 degree, that 9 o'clock angle. And then I'll put this one in here. I'm going to tuck underneath that leaf. Like so. And I need the pink. Like this. And then this teal one is I like this teal one here better, I think. This teal one I'm going to have pointing ever so slightly to 1 o'clock. Oh, that I could do. So maybe I'll do that. And I bet you're all saying, so Sheri, where are you putting your photo? Well, that's an excellent question. That is an excellent question. I have some pieces of white that I have cut in various photo sizes. So I have a 3x4, I've got a bunch of 4x6s, and I have a 5x7.
You're covering up everything you just stuck on?
I know. That's why I don't think that's the right. And what I might do, if I can.
What are you doing?
I'm cutting myself a slit so that my photo can tuck in just a little bit further.
Down further, or you...
Listen to Mr. Crafty over here giving advice. And yeah, some of this would have been better if I had planned it out ahead of time, but okay, we're going to do our best. So I'm going to stick with 4x6. I'm going to tuck that in there. I'm going to come right down.
Now you can see all the tags.
Now we can see the tags. We've got a little bit of an accent here. And then this is maybe where a 3x4 can tuck in. No, I'm not covering the hummingbird. Can tuck in like so. I'm not going to stick those down yet because I may change my mind on that, but that is kind of the plan for the first page. Now for the second page. So same idea. I think I'm going to trim my teal and my pink, not my white and my mint, down by 2 inches to give me some smaller tags, give me a little bit more leeway. And I'm definitely keeping all of these little bits because they will provide great textural elements for future cards, future layouts. Ooh. Well, I can decide in a second. I don't need to decide what side yet. And my pink one. Everybody still following along?
Yep.
Excellent. So maybe this one, instead of, so where this one was kind of from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, this one I think I'm going to do driver's position 10 and 2. So it'll give us a little bit more flexibility with our photos. So let's go 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or 11 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And it's okay if it's not that perfect circle because I don't want to cover up down here. Okay. Where am I going to start? This is where if my camera wasn't being used, to record, I would probably take a photo of how I had things laid out. So I'd be able to position them the same way again.
My camera is busy, sorry.
That's okay. And down a little bit there. And I think I want this blue one to be on top and have this one tuck under. So I'll put that one next. And all of these are flat. I am not, no, this is the one I was going to do the morning glories, but that's okay. I'm not popping any of these up. We've got too many layers. Our layout would be super thick if we did that. All right, so now I'm going to go pink, teal,
I think that pink thing should be on the left side.
This one should be on this side?
No, the gingham.
This one?
Yeah. Get it as far away from the other game.
Again, advice from the peanut gallery.
I have a very discerning eye.
He does have a very discerning eye. And then I do like that side, even though it's the butterfly. So let's put this one in here. And this one like that so that the pink is popping out. Oh, don't cover the hummingbird.
You may have to bring those center two down a little bit because your tags are sticking out from the bottom.
That's okay. I'm going to cover it with a photo.
Oh.
So we'll put this one here. Make sure you don't go off your page.
Oh, yeah. Good tip.
Like that. And I want this pink one in behind. So lots of things are peeking through. And we'll put that one there.
Nobody asks any questions when you're doing this.
No questions?
No.
That's okay. And then yeah, I think we'll do that 5x7 there. Or would the 4x6 fit better?
Covering up so much of your texture.
Well, we could do this and
Three by four.
so I've got another 4x6 and a 3x4. So that way it is kind of.
Would the 3x4 look better in the bottom right corner?
Well, we could always put a second one. All right. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
I am happy with that. So when I bring my pages together, and it may not all fit on the camera.
Pretty close. Other way. Go to your left. Yep. There you go.
Okay. So we've got a spray of tags over here with 2 photos. We've got an arrangement of tags over here. And given now that I know where these things are, I might.
Too late.
No, it's not too late. I may just tuck it a little bit more like that so there's not quite as much extra showing. But I still got my hummingbirds. I've still got those focal points. I've got lots of photos on here. And I'm gonna commit. I'm going in. And committing. Make sure that stays straight though. Whoops, that one slid. So let me this one.
And go vertical with the 4x6. Tuck it under the birdie.
No.
No.
I know what you're saying, but I don't like a big one being in the bottom corner.
Oh.
So we're going to make this another 3x4.
School pictures.
School pictures, just nicely cropped pictures. Is that the loose one? Yeah. So, and if I do that, no, do that, and then come down over here. All right. So we now have our tags in place. We now have our photos in place. No, I don't want to cover up. No, simplify, keep it simple. All right. So I did promise you rub-ons. I did promise you maybe some stenciling. So this is a raindrop stencil from Spellbinders. And I need, from the other side of the table, nope, not that one, a blending brush. This size is probably overkill for what I'm about to do, but what will hold a lot will hold a little. So I'm just going to do little bits of raindrops. I'm going to use Evergreen, I think. Let's try it on here. Maybe too dark. Let's try Parsley. Yes, that's a bit better. Or I could go Oceanside. Yeah, and Oceanside it is because it's going to bring out my teal. So let's just get some ink here and stencil up. Oops. Of course it moved.
You didn't tape it down.
Just doing some old little bits just for texture. Just in that one little corner. There we go. This is what's going to give us kind of our mixed media look, pattern on pattern. I don't want it down here. Should I do a little bit up here? Just a touch. And then let's come over here and let's do some down here. Just inking up. And oops, I got some on my picture. Very abstract, very random. And you know what? I'm going to call it. I could come back later if I need to, but that's just got, you know, a little bit here, a little bit down here. So this almost looks like it's one cluster now. And if I do my triangle rule, then that makes a triangle. This will go away to clean later. Ink cleans off super easy. Now I need my rub-ons. And I'm going to pull. So these are new rub-ons from All and Create. This is set number 7 called Stainy Rainy, which goes with my raindrops. These are super cool because when I first ordered them, I thought that everything was going to in this pack was going to be these greens and teals. But when I pulled out the second sheet, there's purple, there's brown, and then there's another really fun area down here. So I am just going to pick some. Because my background is green, I am going to lean more to the bluey turquoisey side of things. So let's just cut out the section. This one's gonna go up here, and maybe can we do something small up there? Maybe this little blob here. Can tuck up under there. And what about down here? Let's continue with that segment there.
Do something in the bottom left layout, bottom left.
This one over here?
Yeah. And maybe up in the middle too.
Yeah, well, we're not done yet. So,
Oh, no? Okay.
so I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut this here. It's just going to go there. All right, one at a time, one at a time. Peel away. So there's 2 layers to a rub-on. There's your acetate that actually has your sticky bits on it. There's your background piece. Background piece can go in the trash. I'm going to tuck this under and go up like this. Just gently rub with your fingers. That'll make sure it doesn't wiggle. Then you've got your little popsicle stick that comes in the kit, in the set. By the end of your rub-on history, you're going to have tons of these little popsicle sticks, but they are always useful. And these are coming off really easily. If you have any resistance at all, if pieces are not coming up, you just push it down again, give it a little rub in that area, lift. Oh, that word didn't come out. Rub-ons are incredibly forgiving. So there we go. We've got that blob at the top. And then the other 2 are on this page. So let's take this and we'll add it in here. There really is no, well, for most of these, there is no up, down otherwise. So you can move them around. Whoops. Get that underneath. And yeah, I still have a little bit left on this one, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't want it, so I'm going to just move it on. You could try to keep it if you wanted to. I'm not gonna. And then this little guy here, let's tuck under here. And so these ones are really cool because they've got the white on it, so it should stand up against the background. And if you've got little pieces that maybe didn't come away, you can just gently peel them away. All right, so those are the rub-ons. Now Matt was saying that we need some bits down here. Maybe a little bit more in here. We can do a little bit more down here. And this is where I'm going to bring in my stamp set. Oh, here he is underneath my trimmer. So this stamp set here has some great little word stamps. So nature, plants, animals, landscapes coming together, working together. That also has a bit of a, I'm going to call it a dictionary thing. It's not really, it's more of just like a line listing, but it really does mirror some of the words and the style that's on this paper that we cut apart. So by bringing in these stamps to other layers, it helps to start bringing our papers together. Now, I was going to do them in color, but now I'm thinking I may do it in black. So let me just grab my black. And I know some of you are very comfortable just going in and stamping just with the stamp. I am much more comfortable with a block. So let's put this one here. And actually, I'll grab a square. This one here. Now, if you don't want it to be super black,
a vintage photo.
Vintage photo would work generally, but there's not a whole lot of brown in this layout. There's more grays and blacks than there are brown. There's little bits of brown. I think the black is going to stand out a little bit more.
You could channel your inner Nina and do ice.
I could do iced spruce. I think we're a little bit green for iced spruce. But if you ever feel like you think the black is going to be too stark, this is where you would do your second generation. So you're good. By second generation means you're going to stamp twice without inking in between. So I'm going to stamp on my scrap paper, and then I can just do a little area there. And it just makes it really faint and very textury. Whoops. Inking in your lid doesn't work. Yep.
Time for a drink.
Well, we've got ice cream cake, so
Ooh.
let me straighten out a bit here. You can also do 2 generations right on the same page. So here I'm going to do dark, and then I'm going to come up here and do another light. So I've got the different shade, and you could go 3rd generation. You could go 1. Oh, that was on a rub-on, so that's smeared. Be careful. Don't stamp on rub-ons. Let's go. That's not a rub-on. That's paper. So let's do something up there. It's just giving texture. Don't really need over here. Let's maybe do down here. And so that 3rd generation one is very faint. You may not even be able to see it on camera. And then let's do some vertical ones. Again, don't do it on the rub-on. The rub-on will just smear. Bloop. And you can overlap. Bloop. Just giving you texture. I'm not really too fussed about whether the words will show. I'm only worried about whether this will transfer if I go to stack it. So just dabbing away some of the excess. All right. This page here, let's do some horizontal ones. Big one. Another one. Maybe another one over here.
Top left, top right corner.
Up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything's very slippery now. I'm not sure why. And then I'll come over here to my vertical ones, because that wasn't on a rub-on, and yet it was very slippery. Not sure. And then down here. And all right, so that's having fun with the stamp, giving us, again, that mixed media idea. And you know what? It's not lying to say that this is mixed media. We are using ink. We are using paper. We used different media on this. We are now going to add some washi tape. And hopefully finding the edge is going to be the hardest thing I do tonight. Is that it there?
You're at 58
minutes?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll wind this down. So I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of the, whoops, and sometimes getting it started is hard. And it's very busy washi tape, so it's hard to see the edge. All right, peel it gently, peel it gently. There we go. Once you get it started, you're good. So I'm actually going to use this seam to make it look like we have stitched our page together. Let's go a little bit higher and I can pull it underneath. So there we've got that stitching at the top. We don't really need it at the bottom, but we do need it over here. Let's get another strip. This one's got a nice little bit of stitching. And again, we'll just come underneath. And now we don't see our paper seams. And I think I didn't use these little guys, but I think we'll pass. I think we'll move on. All this really needs now is a title, which I would probably put up here. I could always use one of these photo spots for my journaling. Oh, and my pretty gems. My pretty gems. Let's just sprinkle some gems on and call it a night. So,
you need gems?
Do you need gems? No, you never need gems. Do I want gems? You're darn right I do.
You want the sparkle?
I want a little bit of something. So I'm going to take a large. And let's go here. 1. Then a medium. And a baby one. And I'm doing my gems in clusters of 3. A big, a medium, and a small. So there's 1 there. Let's do 1, 2, 3. Let's do 1 here.
Did you use one of the small ones as the eye on the bird?
Yeah, I don't think the bird needs twinkly eyes.
Oh.
This guy's full of suggestions tonight, isn't he, ladies? Almost makes me think he wants to volunteer.
Nope. I do have opinions.
He just has opinions, he says. So I'm going to come up here. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. So triangle, triangle. Feel like I need to be down here and up here. 1, 2. Luckily, there's tons of gems in this package. 1, 2, and 3. Last but certainly not least, and this would really only come into play if I had my photos, I can tack down some of these little errant bits. Either use your liquid glue. I'm using my tape here. There we go. Clear the space. And I said I was going to use this, but I didn't end up using it. So there you go. Tags, layout, mixed media the Sheri way, clean and simple, and mixing lines, all the things that I promised. Now, does it look like this? Other than the fact that the hummingbirds are in the middle and we've got tags on both sides, that's about it. But you know what?
Looks like looking in a mirror.
You got to start somewhere and then go where the creativity moves you. So folks, that is my layout tonight. Thank you for sticking with me for an hour. Hope you picked up a couple of tricks. Hope you get out some of your tag paper and put it to good use. Really just focusing on contrast and color. And like I said, I may, because I can go in and lift, I may make some minor adjustments. But the thing is to get your stuff out and use it. Create something beautiful, have fun. Whether the vision in your head ends up on your paper or not, nobody's going to know if you don't tell them. So just have fun, enjoy the color, and have a wonderful evening. We will see you back here tomorrow night at 7 for What's New. Some of the stuff you've already seen, but we will show it to you again tomorrow, as well as a bunch of other stuff. And I think that's it. So have a good evening, everyone.